The Oscar-winning 1961 movie West Side Story was an adaptation of the Broadway hit. This week, the Leonard Bernstein musical has returned to the Great White Way, but something's different this time. Here's Mo Rocca.
The Jets are gonna have their day tonight.
West Side Story is back on Broadway. The tale of lusty young lovers set against a New York City turf battle between the Puerto Rican Sharks and the Anglo Jets was first produced in 1957. The 1961 blockbuster movie made it a cultural mainstay.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty.
While this revival may look familiar, it sounds different. That's because the Sharks do much of their singing in Spanish. Now, who would have the temerity to mess with a classic?
I remember the night of the first preview.
None other than the man who wrote West Side Story's script, or book, the man directing this revival, 91-year-old theater legend, Arthur Laurents. If you think it's a PR stunt, 91-year-old directs major Broadway musical, it's not.
Stage left is a workable fire escape.
From the first meeting of the show's full company in November,
Let me interrupt.
Laurents was calling the shots.
And what you hear is ba-da-dum,
And making it clear what this production is all about.
sex. They are all over each other. They can barely sing. It's almost as though they better get married. I know you want to please me, but I think you're at the point where you also want to please yourself.
During rehearsals in Washington, he was nothing but nurturing to Shark and Jet alike.
You afraid to use plain skin?
Not even garbage?
That ain't a rumble.
Who says?
You said
Now there is where you take over his side.
Afraid to use plain skin?
Not even garbage?
That ain't a rumble. Who says?
Who says it's so important? I'm with you. I'm the commander. I say. But now
You're working how many days a week?
8.
8 days a week. How many hours a day?
Oh, it's endless.
His legendary work ethic is matched only by a notorious reputation for what's politely called candor.
Well, you know, the first 2 weeks I thought he absolutely hated me and I was terrified of him and I wanted to quit because I thought I was awful.
Laura Benanti won a Tony for her role in Gypsy, the musical masterpiece authored and last year directed by Laurents.
And then he said he realized that I'm not somebody who needs to be broken down, I'm someone who needs to be built up. And he helped me.
When I mentioned to a couple of people that I was going to be interviewing you, they said, he's a legend, he's brilliant, but he can be really mean.
I have heard that for many, many years. At first it bothered me, and now it doesn't, because I know who and what I am.
Arthur Laurents was born in Brooklyn, and from the age of 10 knew he wanted to write plays. His earliest efforts received mixed reviews, though Laurents says reviews don't matter.
I have a saying, if you believe it, you're dead. And I think people who believe in their success or in the reviews or in anything but what they are doing are unfortunate. I've been very fortunate in an odd way. My first play, Home of the Brave, was a flop.
In all, he's written 24 plays and counting, plus the screenplays for 8 movies, including early on Hitchcock's Rope.
It was perfect. Yes. An immaculate murder.
He says he turned down 2 more offers from Hitchcock. But he said yes to collaborating with director Jerome Robbins, composer Leonard Bernstein, and lyricist Stephen Sondheim on West Side Story.
When you're a jet all the way from your...
Hotter than ever, Laurents was asked to write a musical about a stripper, Gypsy Rose Lee. But he wanted to write about Gypsy's mother.
Finished? Why, we're just beginning, and this time nothing's gonna stop us.
And wrote what is considered by many the best book in musical theater. In movies, too, Laurents defied conventional wisdom with his screenplay for The Way We Were. It featured Robert Redford and Barbra Streisand as a Jewish communist and Class A agitator. Hardly a recipe for a blockbuster.
You fascist!
It was a blockbuster. Streisand's character is a pain in the butt. How much of her is you?
First of all, I don't think she's a pain in the butt. She may be a pain in your butt. She's not a pain in mine, and a lot of her is me.
I'm telling you that people are more important than any goddamn witch hunt. You and me. Not causes, not principles.
Hubble, people are their principles.
You have to live what you believe and to be proud that you have.
Is that a problem that you think a lot of people suffer from, the need to be liked?
I think they suffer from it enormously.
That would explain his more than candid memoir. A look back at showbiz pals from Lena Horne to Lauren Bacall to Katharine Hepburn. You are blunt. I mean, you said Katharine Hepburn had no sense of humor about herself.
Define the word blunt. I will define it for you. Katharine Hepburn did not have a sense of humor. Do you want me to say, you know, I adored Kate and she was wonderful. She wasn't exactly the most fun person. Why spend all that time? She had no sense of humor, period. I think people waste a lot of time being evasive and worrying about what should not be worried about.
Okay.
This is not adding to my reputation, I know, but I don't care.
And then there's his private life.
I think sex is terribly important.
Well, speaking of which...
Speaking of which, you can go to my book.
Yes. Indeed, his memoir may be the longest little black book on record. I mean, page after page.
Yes, I know pages of pages, but it happened. Maybe I'm oversexed, so I just like it. Still, at 197. But I have found that people who don't have any sex life, they don't have much of any other life.
Fighting over a little piece.
Both the memoir and this revival of West Side Story are dedicated to one person.
Tom Hatcher, my longtime partner. That's a hideous word. It's a business word. A relationship is not a business.
So you're a writer. Give me another word.
I would say lover.
The couple were together 52 years before Hatcher died in 2006.
I had the most marvelous life that anybody could have with another person. That I'm proud of. That's an achievement. Because most people quit on each other. And we never did.
This revival was Hatcher's idea.
He saw a Spanish language production of West Side in Bogota, Colombia. And he said, why not have the Sharks speak Spanish where they would?
Ay, bendito. Tú ves, en Puerto Rico las mujeres conocen su lugar.
Whatever the fate of this production, Arthur Laurents is moving on.
I don't look back. I never have. I don't see it. When I'm dead, and what they're going to say doesn't mean anything to me. You live in the now. I'm really not thinking of anything but sitting here talking to you. What's going to happen with this? I don't know. And truthfully, I don't much care.